What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. It's CM Boom, and welcome to your CDL Weekly Update, a new show that I'm going to be doing every week, recapping all the matches that happen on the weekends, and we are going to be doing that for all of the 2023-2024 Call of Duty League season. So without further ado, let's get into the matches. To start off CDL Day 1 Stage 1 qualifiers, we had the strongest team on paper, Atlanta FaZe, taking on Boston Breach. Boston Breach picking up Slasher over the offseason and Priesta. Slasher playing against his former team in Atlanta FaZe. Unfortunately, they fall short. Atlanta FaZe gets the win 3-2. Moving on to the second match of that day, we have the Seattle Surge taking on the newly formed Los Angeles Thieves, with Illy making his return to the Call of Duty League. He hadn't played since being dropped from Optic at the end of Major 2 last year. A lot of that was presumed due to his former injury still bothering him. Nonetheless, he dropped a 1.72 KD in the series, and Seattle Surge gets the win over the Los Angeles Thieves 3-1. And to round out the day, for day number 1, we have the defending world champs, the New York Subliners, taking on the new Optic Texas. Optic Texas adding Pred and Kenny this offseason, looking to bounce back from the troubles that they had last year. Unfortunately, they also fall short as they go all the way to a Game 5, Round 11 in Search and Destroy and lose. They actually lost 2 Round 11 games in the Search and Destroy in that series, and that will cap off day number 1. NYSL looking strong, Atlanta FaZe looking strong, Boston looking good as well. I did not expect the Atlanta-Boston match to go to a map 5, and Seattle, honestly, I think shocked a lot of people. A lot of people did not expect Seattle to be this dominant. But moving on to day number 2, vamos, we have the Miami Heretics making their CDL debut against the Carolina Royal Ravens, 2 teams that have been rebranded. The former Florida Mutineers being rebranded to the Miami Heretics, and the London Royal Ravens becoming the Carolina Royal Ravens. And what a debut it was for Miami as they clean sweep Carolina 3-0. And then, for number 2 of that day, the Minnesota Rocker taking on the Vegas Legion. Attached, formerly on Minnesota Rocker, now joined the Vegas Legion. They get the win 3-2 over the Rocker, putting them at 1-0. And then the fourth match of the day, Toronto Ultra versus Los Angeles Guerrillas. A lot of people, including myself, did not think that LAG were even going to field a team this year, as their org had gone under. Toronto Ultra making a huge pickup in Envoy over the offseason. They get the win 3-1 over the Los Angeles Guerrillas. And to round out day number 2, we once again have the Seattle Surge dominating the Boston Breach 3-1. Boston fall to 0-2, and Seattle Surge stay dominant with a firm 2-0 to kick off the CDL season. Going into the last day, day 3, that's Sunday, Vegas, Carolina. Carolina bounces back from the clean sweep they took from Miami and beat out the Las Vegas Legion 3-2. Clayster facing his old team in the Vegas Legion and even pulling off a Ninja Defuse in one of the Search and Destroy matches. And then, in a match that actually shocked me and possibly shocked everybody, the New York Subliners take on the Los Angeles Guerrillas, and that match goes the distance, going all the way to a map number 5. LAG looking great against the defending world champions. Definitely surprised me and definitely surprised the rest of the league. And then Atlanta FaZe, again the most dominant team on paper, clean sweep LA Thieves. Draza facing his former team once again. We have a lot of matchups this week where former players played against their former teams. Of course, Los Angeles Thieves were not able to keep their squad from last year, in which they won Major 4, and the year prior won Call of Duty World Champs. You know, they had Octane retire, Draws, as we saw, go to FaZe, Envoy going to the Toronto Ultra, and Kenny being picked up by Optic Texas. Speaking of Optic Texas, the last match of CDL Week 1 qualifiers was Optic taking on the Minnesota Rocker, and boy, did the boys bounce back, winning out 3-1. Those pickups in Kenny and Pred proving to be very valuable and paying off, as they were able to get the win over Rocker, putting themselves at 1-1. As we can see, going into the Major 1 qualifiers, we have Seattle Surge sitting at the number 1 spot, Atlanta FaZe having the number 2 seed, followed by New York Subliners at 3, Miami Heretics at 4, Toronto Ultra coming up at 5, Optic Texas sitting in 6th place, Vegas Legion taking 7th, Carolina Royal Ravens at 8th, and your bottom 4 teams are Boston Breach at 9th, Los Angeles Guerrillas at 10th, Minnesota Rocker at 11th, and the LA Thieves at 12th. This would also be the same for the regular season, meaning if the season were to end tomorrow and champs were to be this weekend, the 4 teams not making the playoff qualifications would be Boston Breach, LAG, Minnesota Rocker, and the Los Angeles Thieves. This weekend was amazing, as it was a lot of great matches. This Friday weekend too kicks off with the Miami Heretics taking on the Las Vegas Legion. That is Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That has been your CDL Weekly Update, and I'm CM Boom.